Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Period 5, the team-led podcast where young people from around the world share their stories, perspectives, and ideas about identity, inequality, and the future. Today, we're talking with Cynthia and Faustina from Nigeria, two young students and founders of the Arise Foundation. They have both dedicated themselves to empowering talented students in underserved communities through mentorship, spelling bees, and leadership programs. So in this episode, we'll hear about what inspired them to start Arise, the impact they've made, the challenges they face, and their vision for the future of youth empowerment. So first of all, it's really great to meet you guys. How are you doing?
We're very fine, thank you.
That's great to hear. So first of all, perhaps can you tell us a bit about yourselves and your background and what Arise is?
I'll be going first. I am Cynthia as you've introduced, and I'm a fourth-year medical student at Samara University, Nigeria, a Christian university in the southeastern part of Nigeria. So currently, I am the founder and the lead person of the Arise Foundation, and I have here with me my sister and a co-founder too, and one of the persons chairing a team in the Arise Foundation. So my background, we both come from an average family in Nigeria, not so rich, not so poor, and we have grown seeing how it is and how important it is for young people to have mentors, for young people to have access to the right opportunities. Because while growing up, our parents, our mom especially, made sure that we had access to all of that. But that is one of the things that is making Arise stand out, and one of the reasons why we are pushing Arise and making it to be there, to be out there. So Arise stands for access, reach, impact, support, and empower. And those 5 pillars are not just words; they are the pillars on which the foundation stands and what we are trying to make available for kids in underserved communities. So at this point, I would like her to introduce herself and say a bit of.
I'm Ezeniki Beziwani. I'm a 100-year nursing student at the David Umahi Federal University of Health Sciences, Ebonyi State, southeastern part of the country. I'm leading one of the teams in the foundation. Our Arise Foundation is to help students in underserved communities, to mentor them and to be their support.
That's really great to hear. And it's just a startup, right? You just started this week with your first competition. So good luck to you guys both on that one.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Cynthia, you mentioned how the opportunities that you had from your mom were what really empowered you to start your journey to where you are today. And that's what inspired you to start Arise. So also going on a bit of a tangent to that same idea, how does the context of Nigeria, culturally, socially, and within the education system, shape the way that Arise operates?
So, Nigeria's context plays a huge role in how Arise operates. Culturally, we are a society that values education, but many children still lack personalized attention to express their potential. Economic pressure means families focus more on survival than self-development. And in the education system, overcrowded classrooms and limited resources make it difficult for young students to be identified early. We work closely with schools, volunteers, and teachers to create opportunities that our systems currently doesn't provide for the students.
Arise Foundation, we understand how Nigeria is a blessed country, yes, but not everything goes well as we want it. It's not very balanced financially, economically, and the rest. So we try to make use of what we have available. Try to make use of low-cost materials, try to make it sustainable, things that can last long, even when the funding is not easily available. So we work closely with schools in those communities, we work closely with their teachers, and we work closely also with the students too. And we have a team of youth volunteers that are partnering in this stuff that we are doing. So it's very easy to manage the expenses that come from it and then have more impact directly on those students as we want to.
That's so cool. Yeah. So zooming in a bit, can you share the story of a student whose potential was unlocked through Arise and what that moment meant for you?
Okay, so I have 2 stories I'm going to share. So last year we hosted our first spelling bee competition and we trained the top spellers, registered them for the biggest spelling bee in Nigeria, which is the Nigeria Spelling Bee. So it happened that this girl made it past the state level, then made it to the national levels. She became a national finalist. So now she has a spot to represent Nigeria at the Africa Spelling Bee. if we get the resources needed to sponsor her. So after that spelling bee, when the girl won the scholarship and all of that, she came to me and she said that prior to this time, I've never known what a spelling bee was. I never even believed that I could, compete on the stage with the top spellers from all the 32 states in Nigeria. Funny enough, this girl too came from a very underserved area in southeastern part of Nigeria. Her school doesn't even know that people could compete, like come out on the stage to compete, talk more of competing at that level. So it was really touching. It really inspired me. It really made me want to do better. Really made me want to, continue what the Arise Foundation stands for. So for the fact that the girl was able to bring out her potential, she was able to realize that, I could spell, I could compete with these people. For the fact that they are more privileged than me does not mean I cannot do what they are doing. It really made me feel really better and have this warm glow that comes with social impact. And the second story happened just last week. We had this girl, a very little girl. We call her Speller 49 because that was her tag number. So Speller 49, this was her first time on the stage. This was the first time she was spelling, first time she was being on the stage for any reason whatsoever. And the girl said to me that she has never been here before and she feels really good to be here. And she's motivated and she's encouraged that she wants to participate over and over again. So seeing these kids come out from their shells, have the courage to stand on the stage and compete, it's so amazing and so inspiring. It makes me want to do better. It makes all of us at the Arise Foundation want to do better.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even put words to how impactful, how great what you're doing is. I mean, the stories that you told me right now, it's almost like a movie, and you guys are two people who are making it happen. So it's really great to hear.
Thank you.
So also, what were some of the biggest challenges or setbacks that you faced when starting Arise, and how did you overcome them?
Okay, so every social impact has problems that come with it. Right from the ideation stage, there are always problems. There is this fear of, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can get it together. I don't know how I'm going to impact on these people. But in the journey of Arise Foundation, one of the most problems we have faced is the problem of finance. Okay, having this kind of programs that impacting people and then trying to sponsor them, get the event together, have a whole auditorium and all of that costs a lot. So being a student too, someone that doesn't really have a job that pays, getting the finance to make this event a success can be quite difficult. So it was one of the major problems we had. But God was good enough and we were able to strategize. We got partners, people that were willing to buy into our vision. We wrote to companies, we wrote to some people around the state that we feel they're going to be inspired by what we are doing and would like to contribute to the success of the event. So we wrote to them and we were able to get the finances necessary for this event. So far, we are trying to make the Arise Foundation very sustainable, something that would not be very costly and expensive, that will require so much financial assistance so that we could curtail and work on that problem. Then the second problem we had too was, sometimes it's very difficult to get your volunteers. People always want to volunteer, but not everybody understands what it means to actually volunteer for something. Volunteering means you are giving your heart out for something. It means that you want to work for the cause and contribute to the success of this event without being paid. So now we are trying to get people who are really interested so that when they come, they're able to render their services selflessly. So how are we tackling this issue? We are trying to start a probation period where we get these volunteers, let them apply, we get them, give them tasks to do, and then judge them by the way, how dedicated they are to the tasks we have given them before we can get them on board into the main team. So that's how we are tackling the issues. Yeah,
it shows how important this project is for you and what it means. It's important to have a purpose and it's important to have a mission. So how did you grow Arise from sending kids to other spelling bees and smaller local efforts to an organized foundation with your own spelling bees and mentorship sessions?
Okay, so we started little. I always say it, great things happen from even a small place. When we started, we weren't very organized. We started like 2 years ago. And it all started when I discovered about the SDGs, first off. And I was really impressed and so amazed. I was like, really, there's something like this. And when I discovered about the SDGs, what did I do? I began to volunteer. I wanted to have the experience. I started with secondary school. I had this little spelling club, which didn't really boom, but I just had this little spelling club. Then when I was done with secondary school, I came out. I started coaching people like just one-on-one, my siblings, cousins, for the spelling bee. That was how I started. Then at a point, I was like, why not just make this vision, expand it, make it bigger, make it reach other people too? Then from there, I started talking to people that I feel might be interested. My sister, for example, who is here, I spoke to her about it and I said, this is what I want to do. You think you can buy into this vision? Which she did. I reached out to some friends. And from there, I got encouragement from a whole lot of people. That was how the organization became a standing one and became a formal one. And from there, we started hosting big events and attending the Nigeria Spelling Bee too.
And so this one for both of you. For Faustina, how do you balance college and helping your sister? And for Cynthia, how do you balance med school and running an entire nonprofit?
So, as she was in med school, I was helping her take up some classes and organize some things that she couldn't do from school while I was at home. So that was my only way of supporting her because I didn't have the finance to support her financially. So I was at home helping her the little way I could. And then earlier this year, I got into school. And while I was in school, at that moment, she was preparing for the Nigeria Spelling Bee that she took a student to. So I was in school then and I was writing exams. So I couldn't really do much for her. And she did the whole thing. So at the end of the semester, I came back home and since then I've been at home helping her. And when she brought the idea of making a Rise Foundation a public foundation, I supported her, supported financially to an extent, and then gave her my ideas and decided to volunteer. And that was the way I was able to help her.
Okay, on my end, how have I been able to manage college and manage running the foundation? It's really been tough, I won't lie, but I just try to be audacious and tenacious at the same time. Yes, that's what matters. And then I try to manage my time properly. I can procrastinate, very true. I do that a lot. But I try to know this is time for my medical books and this is time for me to go about my college stuff. So I try to manage my time properly. I try to do first things first, prioritize. I try to put the quadrant 2 principle in my life because I've always known that my life will not be very similar to other people in school. They have all their attention 100% focused on their books. Me, I don't. I have a lot of things. Social impact is a lot. It demands your time, your attention, your energy, a lot of things. So I try to manage my time properly. I try to be the quadrant 2 person and I try my best to know when it is time for my books and when it is time for me to focus on my social impact projects.
Yeah, I also agree, right? Because med school especially, right, just so much work and it's really important to prioritize, especially with all of these things that you're doing. So yeah, my next question is, how has working with youth from underserved areas shaped your perspective on talent, opportunity, and leadership?
Okay, working with them, I've gotten to confirm something, that there is talent everywhere, but opportunities are not. These kids from underserved areas are very intelligent and very brilliant and very smart. They just need someone to believe in them, someone to tell them, yes, you can, someone to give them access to that opportunity for them to do well. I told you about the girl that made it to the national final in the Nigeria Spelling Bee. This girl doesn't know what the spelling bee was. She had never been to one. She has never been to a competition before. So it's simply telling me that give them that opportunity that people from, privileged backgrounds can have. And these kids will shine. They will do whatever you want them to do. I've learned that we should make opportunities accessible to them because when you make opportunities accessible to them, you see them thinking out of the box, being innovative and very creative. And I've also learned in my work with them that I also have to be patient with them. When you give them the time, when you teach them well, you see them shining on the stages you don't even expect them to shine. So working with them is teaching me patience. It's teaching me to, be courageous. It's teaching me to always believe in people, no matter their first disposition or their first impression they give me.
One other thing that I learned from working with children from underserved communities is that great things can come from small places too. These children are willing to learn. Unlike most people from the privileged families, you may talk about a particular competition or project and they'll be like, okay, I will do it later, I'll do it some other time, I have the chance. But for the children from underserved communities, they're always willing to learn. They want to grab every opportunity they come in contact with. So this is one thing I've learned, that regardless of wherever somebody is from, that the person can also do great things from that small place.
Especially what you said, the people from small places can do good things. Well, I think in your guys' case, it would be great things, right? These kids are going out there and one day they're going to change the world. So what are your guys' goals for Arise in the next few years? Are there any big plans or expansions you're excited about?
Hopefully, next year, we then having health outreaches for these kids in school. We want to teach them about preventable health, like diseases, conditions, and all of that. Something like hand washing, personal hygiene, menstruation health, and all of that. And we also have intentions of offering scholarships to those kids, because there's some of them that their major problem in this life is finances. They have the brains, but they don't have money to sponsor what their brains could do. We also have intentions of building a community library where we can have a lot of kids have access to books without having to pay. They just come there, they read, they keep the books, and others come to use it. So in future, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, we're looking forward to having a community library project done and completed and open for these kids to have access to, and to run scholarship programs too for these kids that cannot afford the finances, what it takes for them to be in school. So that's the plan Araz has for 2 to 3 years' time.
Yeah, I mean, I live in Europe right now, and it's really easy to forget how privileged we are to have access to like a library down the street, because as is in your case, libraries can help a student come from here to here. They can learn so much, and something that we really take for granted a lot of times.
You know, growing up, I didn't really grow up in a very fancy place. As I said, just the average Nigerian family. I didn't have an access to a library, but my mom made sure that she got us every book we could need, and I know how expensive it was. Now, imagine the kids that don't have that money to afford those books. Imagine my mom didn't even save enough to get us those books. I don't think I'll be where I am now. Books opened my imaginations. They made me see the world while sitting inside the classroom, sitting inside my room. They made me see the world far ahead. So I want to make this library accessible to these kids so that they can also have access to these books even without having to pay for it. It should really go a long way helping them.
So now going to the last question. What advice would you give to other young people who want to start initiatives but feel limited by resources or their environment?
Okay, just one word. I'll say start small. Yes. Great things always happen from a small place. Never undermine your little beginnings. When I started, I didn't even know it will ever be this way. Yes, we haven't reached where we want to be. It's not as big as we want it to be, but we have made tremendous progress. So I always say start small. Don't wait for everything to feel perfect. Start. Even if it's one person, even with a crowd of one, start with something.
For me, I would say if you're to start, you also have to be consistent. You just have to keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep going. No matter the pressure, the setback you're facing, it's just preparing you for the next phase of life you're going to get into. So you have to be consistent.
Just try to learn on the job. You cannot get everything perfect in social impact. Learn on the job. You definitely learn. Definitely.
So from what you said, tenacity is the word that comes to mind, and something that I believe both of you embody it completely. So kudos to you guys both on that. It's really, really amazing meeting with you guys today. So that wraps up our conversation with Cynthia and Faustina. Their work with Arise is a powerful reminder that talent exists everywhere. It just needs access, guidance, and opportunity to shine. If you're inspired by this episode, consider thinking about the ways that you can support youth in your own communities. And stay tuned for more conversations with changemakers from around the world on Period 5. If you want to hear more about Cynthia's project, you can look the link in the description, and I'll see you next time.
All right. Bye.